In this video, we're going to be setting up registration fees for our tournament. So I've got a new tournament here. I'm going to just jump over to the dashboard, and you can see the tournament here. I'm going to click into it to get to our tournament setup page, and this is where we're going to be setting up our registration fees. So right now you can see nobody's registered to the tournament. We just have a single species set up here. We haven't seen set up team groups, although in our settings we turned that on. And I'm going to use those team groups real quick for some TWTs, which I'm going to add. So let's add the first one. I'm going to use this $250 TWT. This is basically, the title is TWT 250. And I'll do the same thing for another single TWT, TWT 500. So I've got these two TWTs as team groups on the side here. And what I want to do is I want to set up some our team registration fees, which will include the payment for those TWTs. And I'm going to set up some individual angler registration fees as well to the side. So we do that underneath here, registration fees. Now, if you don't see this registration fees line here, that means you have payments turned off for your particular tournament. And that's you can enable that under here under tournament settings and on the payments tab. And then you would want to enable receiving payments. So if you have this turned off, that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to turn that back on. I'm going to hit save changes here. And then I can see those registration fees. So first things first, let's set up those that individual registration fee for each angler. And I'm going to go into here and I'm going to click angler for registration fees. And I'm going to click that enable angler registration fee button or checkbox. And by default, we just have basically a single monetary value. So in this case, this is $100 that we're going to receive for that angler registration fee. If you're in a different country other than the United States, this is basically your whatever that currency that you're using. And you can set those currency settings under your global settings here. The $100 fee would work fine. Let's say I had, if I wanted to change that to something, I could say, I want to change that to $250. So that would be my, $250 registration. We don't have to include the .00 afterwards. Doesn't matter. System will figure it out on its own. $250. That would be great if every registration was a flat fee for each individual. But in our case, what we want is actually a registration fee that changes by division. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to delete this item by clicking it and clicking delete. And I'm going to add to our calculation. Right now it says we've got an error. It means basically we have no registration fee whatsoever. I'm going to click add to calculation. We've got some choices that we can add here. We can add operators, add a number just like we had, that 250. Or we can add an item from our angler item list and base a registration fee off of that item. In this case, we want to base a registration fee off of the division. I'm going to click division. I'm going to click add item. And now our divisions that we enabled under our tournament settings are going to show up here. So we've got our junior, senior, and adult fees. So I'm going to say an adult is 250, and I'm going to say our junior is 100, and our seniors, let's say they get in completely free. So we're going to leave that at 0. And I can hit save. And now our division, our registration fees are based on those same exact settings. Let's say we're doing an early bird registration. Let's say we wanted to make these fees go up after a particular date. So our tournament's in August. We're going to set a date by clicking that little icon. I'm going to save out of here, and I'm going to show you exactly how we did that again. This link is where it says click here. If these values change after a specific date, we can click this. You can also base it on an angler account. So we can say, after 4 anglers, the prices go up. So you could set like all zeros, for example. Your first 4 anglers are 0, and then you can change it after 4 anglers that it would be, have pricing based on those anglers. In this case, we're going to base it on a date. We're going to click here. And our effective date for this new set of pricing, which right now is all 0, will be, let's say, a month before August, which would be July 1st. And we'll go to July 1st, and it'll be exactly at 12 a.m. So right when it turns July 1st, these new prices will happen. So seniors can still be 0. Juniors will go up to, let's say, 150. And our adults will go up to 300. No, let's say 350. and we'll save our amounts. And now with that setup, our angler registration fees are good to go. Basically, they're based on a flat a fee that's dependent on the division, and also dependent on a particular date when those registration fees go up. We have not yet added our TWTs to our team registration fee. So even though we wrote here TWT 250, TWT 500, that doesn't mean the software is going to charge 250 and 500 for those. That's basically just text. That's what the registering anglers are going to see. So in our team fees, we can go in there and we can enable that. Right now we've got this base fee, number of anglers times 100. It's very similar to what we would do if we just set 100 over there on the individual registration fee side. But in this case, we're going to get rid of all of this. So I'm clicking each operator or each item and deleting it. I'm going to add to that calculation. This is now the team items that we have. We have a lot of items that we can base a registration fee on. Imagine you can even base a registration fee off of, for example, the boat length. But what we're going to do is we're going to set a registration fee here for our team groups, which is where we have our TWTs stored. So I'm going to click team groups. I'm going to add that item, and we're going to see our TWTs here. And we're going to set 250 and 500 just based on those two amounts. And they're not going to change after a specific date. We're just going to leave them there like that. So we have that. And so now our registration fees are pretty much set up. But let's say we wanted to do one last change. Let's say we wanted to add in, let's see if we've got under our registration, let's see if we've got some shirt sizes. So let's say we wanted to put alongside our individual registration fee, if they select a shirt size, which we'll put in what we've got available, let's say all the way up to maybe 3XL, medium to 3XL, and we add those shirt sizes in, we can go back to our angler registration fee. We can add to the calculation. So we're going to put a plus operator. So it's the division plus if they have a shirt size, we're going to add that angler item in here. We can add add an additional registration fee to that size. So we can say for mediums, we're going to charge $25. Same with large. Same with extra large. So as soon as we get to 2XL, let's raise that up to 30, and then our 3XL is going to be 35. And we've got these shirt sizes. They're not going to be based on a date. They're not going to be based on anything else, just these set shirt sizes. So if I go here and hit save amounts, we've got our division plus a shirt size basically is going to be our individual registration fee. So now we hit save changes. Now let's go over real quick just to test this thing out. We're going to go to our registration page, our team registration form, and we're going to make sure that those fields are in our setup here. So our angler division, we don't need classification, but we do want our shirt size set up here. So our division and our shirt size are going to determine what the registration fee is. And the last thing we need to do here on these settings for the team registration form is click payments and make sure that both our team registration fees are showing and our angler registration fees are showing, and that we are going to make payment required in this case. And that with those three settings, we should be able to see all our registration fees come through. So now I'm going to view this on the website. I'm going to register a new team, and I'm just going to say test. Oh, well, we got one. We got a test boat 2 here. And we've got myself here. I'm going to add myself to the registration fee, and it's asking me for my personal email address to make sure that I can register. All right, so now it's asking me to choose a division, and I'm going to set my division. As you can see, before I choose my division, my team registration fee is $0, and I'm going to set in state. That's okay. Oh, I don't have my TWT, so let's go back and get those TWTs in here. I'm going to close this back up. I'm going to go back to my team registration fee. I didn't set the TWTs as required, which is pretty much what you would not do. You wouldn't want to set, you don't want to make everybody get into a TWT. I'm going to turn that team group choice on. I'm going to put here, instead of team groups, I'm going to call it TWTs. And I'll just put there optional. Okay. And I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back to the website. It's going to bring that test boat back in. Put myself on it. Add back my Gmail. Okay, so now I've got that TWT listed here. And my division. And I'm going to put my TWT in there. And notice that my $250 registration fee shows up. If I am in both TWTs, it should be $750, which it is. Or I can, select one or the both. I'm going to go in both the TWTs. So I've got that $750, and that's what's due. Plus my, because my registration was already set as an adult, I've been pre-registered from last year. I have $250 due for this adult. Now, let's say I change, and now I'm not an adult anymore. I'm a senior. I'm now going to go down to $0 for this registration fee. If I were a junior and I jump over here, it'd be 100. These are the same fees that we set up. And I can just jump around those settings. And this is how your registration fees will show up on this side. And now we have a shirt size. Remember, we did test out that shirt size. So let's say I'm an adult. And if I put medium, it just added $25. So it's $250 plus 25. Or I'm a 3XL, it added the $35. And so now I've got my full registration fee. That's the two TWTs, my adult registration plus my 3XL t-shirt, and total ends up being $135. And that's what I would have to pay at checkout. That's how you manage your registration fees for your tournament. And any changes you need to make, you always just go down to this registration fees area, click team or angler.